Starting to the top right, we have our Protoss player. He is playing for Slayers still.
Yep, for a little bit longer, for a limited time only.
Yeah, for limited time only. His ideas.
Slayers genius.
People will argue if it was really such a genius move to join Slayers in the first place in these dark times, but that's of course always hindsight wisdom.
Yeah. He's up against a player who's been around a long time, former Eastro player. Used to be coached by Juani back in the day in Brood War. His ideas.
Starter Bomber.
Bomber indeed. This guy is sneaky, this guy is tricky. Let's see what he's going to do today. I'm actually really curious what kind of bomber we're going to see today. I feel there's always like two bombers, and one who, I don't want to say, he doesn't really get complacent, but it's just like sometimes he tries strategies that look pretty cool when they actually work. Just being overly aggressive or whatever, if they work, it looks awesome. It's like, oh my god, you're so smart, you completely figured him out. But if it doesn't work, you just run against this wall and you look a little bit silly.
Yeah.
And these are the two phases of Bomber. He's just, it's either Jekyll or Hyde.
Exactly. You know, I feel like Bomber, like Keen, is a good player, but he's very inconsistent, and that's the problem he faces. Sometimes he's on fire. In the Team League, for example, when he starts to get wins, he starts to kind of snowball. It's like he gets more and more confident. You can see the map win rate here. Pretty similar for both these players.
The one thing that you can say about Bomber is that he is a very hard-working player. He is, besides Curious, the player in the Startail house who practices the most, both of them with an insane practice regime. They practice the entire day, they play so many games. So Bomber definitely very, very hard-working, but, well, we'll find out if that's enough today.
Yeah, it may be, it may not be. We'll see if we see a Bomber Terran that is going to be the same one that we saw in that Red Bull video where he jumped out of a plane. And with the factory, I think he's pretty much already putting his parachute on.
Yeah, that parachute is pretty important when you jump out of a plane.
Yeah. It can be a little bit stressful if you don't have one.
That's the one thing that everyone who does skydive is worried about. Everyone is like, oh my god, what happens if the parachute doesn't open? And then it's like, well, there's a second one. Yeah, but what if that one's broken too? I'm like, yeah, well, you're dead. And it's over.
That hasn't happened very often.
Not very often.
It's stressful to think about that, man. It's stressing me out. I'm like, what if that happens to me? I'm like, but I'm not even gonna go skydiving probably ever in my lifetime. Maybe I will, but I'm like, well, if I do go skydiving one day, that's gonna stress me out, man.
Man, at first, I mean, I did my skydive in Australia to the beach, and the thing is, at first you're in this small plane, and I was the coolest person on this plane. Okay, I was completely relaxed. Everyone else was freaking out. I'm like, guys, skydive, everyone does it, so many people did it, nothing's gonna happen. And then suddenly the door opens and you're in this small plane and your feet are dangling at 15,000 feet and you're looking down and I'm like, oh my god. And then suddenly it started. Then I got nervous. Then I got really, really nervous. But at first I thought like, no big deal, yeah, and then suddenly your feet are dangling and you're looking down and you're like, oh my god, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's really good fun. So if you ever have the chance to do a skydive, definitely do it. It's a lot of fun. It's really breathtaking. I can only recommend it. I still prefer bungee jumping, but skydiving is awesome.
Yeah. By the way, we have...
That's actually a good question. Sorry to interrupt you, but how does a Medivac drop Marines?
I don't know, man. This is one of the greatest questions of all time.
It spits them out somehow, right?
I think it must be Terran technology.
Terran technology?
Yeah. It's something about... They got it on Core Hall, I don't know.
There are no parachutes involved there.
No parachutes.
It's a bungee jump without the rope.
I think the Marines actually have this jetpack on the back of their thing that like kind of counteracts gravity and slightly.
That doesn't make sense. Then they could jump up the slope.
Well, it doesn't work that much. It's an anti-falling. I don't know, Power. This is a video game, man. How to meterless fly in space. The drop here is going to go off. This is a really common strategy right now in Korea. Almost every Terran is playing this in the best of series against Protoss, where you run the Hellions to the natural, you drop in the main, and he misses the drop. This is going to be devastating. He's not going to have enough. Oh my god.
Yeah, he loses a lot of the probes already at the front. But now the Marines are in there, and he should target the probes and not the Zealots. That's not going to help him here.
Yeah, it looks like he was a little preoccupied here at the natural. Does target down a sentry, though, and that's really important. Bomber gets out.
Yeah, 8 SCVs killed in 8 probes killed in total. Not that many units lost, so that was definitely worth it. That was well done.
The thing about this build is it's so easy to transition, to be flexible here. You start stim, you get your Marauder production up, and no matter what, you're going to do some sort of damage. No Prost ever flawlessly defended one of these, ever.
First Immortals are now being built. We have for Bomber also a couple of Marauders now in the mix, and the stim upgrade halfway done. The thing for him, of course, is that he did a lot of damage with the earlier aggression that he executed, but he is... Oh, actually, Genius didn't build any probes during that time. Genius was a little bit ahead in the Harvester count, so with Chrono Boosts and a continued probe production, he would have been far ahead, but as it turns out, he didn't build any probes for after the attack immediately, and now we have Bomber with the same Harvester count, while he still has the second base and the second mule, so therefore Bomber in economy ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, he's done this where he made the command center as he moved out, so now he's got the double orbital as you described. Genius does have his third gas up now, so he's getting a gas income that's quite nice. He's got the Robo up. Will he go into Colossi from here? The position he's in is kind of awkward for that, though, because he doesn't really have the probe count to be able to produce Colossi. It looks like he wants to be aggressive with his first two Immortals. We have seen this kill players in the past, but the problem for him, though, is that there's a double drop going towards his main that he has nowhere near enough units to defend against. This is a mistake, I feel, because you always know when your opponent has a medevac earlier on, he's going to have the potential to drop in your base. This is a push that you normally don't do against players who have medevac tech.
This is getting pretty ugly now. We have the two dropships coming in. There are only Zealots to defend, and he is going to drop in just a few seconds. He has Marauders in there as well. Those Zealots, they don't stand a chance. He warps in a few more units, but Bomber is trying to find a little bit of a better spot. He already has all the SCVs pulled to repair the bunker. This is getting pretty stressful.
Yeah, this is really stressful. He needs to get those Immortals down somehow. Good force fields here on the bunker. You know, even though Bomber's got a great drop in the main, it doesn't matter if he can't hold the attack. I thought he might have set up a better defense, but in reality, he does not have a good one here. He needs to get this bunker on the high ground repaired. If he can take out that Observer somehow, it'll help him a little bit, but I think this may be a little bit too much for GS to handle, because without the support, the Immortals cannot fight against the SCVs.
Genius can't build anything, and the problem for him, of course, also is that if he loses those bases, Bomber can just float one of his barracks to the right side of the map over one of the abysses, over the dead space, and the choke point is working against Genius too. Bomber is in a great spot, takes down Immortal number 1, and with those two medivacs around, he can kill everything. Genius has no chance anymore. He's down to 20 supply against 70, and his push is crushed.
Yep, he's dead. The last of his probes are dying now. His Immortal will die here as well. He's down to 6 supply. Down to 3. GG.
Game over. Bomber takes the victory.
And then he jumped out of the plane and landed safely on top of Genius, basically.
He jumped out of the medevac, man, without a parachute, without the bungee.
You ever watched, I'm sure you've seen this, the trailer with Tychus Fenley being manufactured?
Yeah.
And, you know, when it...
Like 200 times?
When the...
No, seriously, that was the first video they released, so that was the only Starcraft 2 video you could watch.
But you know when he is jumping out and the voice of the adjutant's like, all Marines prepare to launch?
Yeah.
He has those jetpack things like on his back. I think that must be how it's done. It's got to be the only way.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Tweet at me, ProxyWolf, and at Calder, what you think is the reason how Mutalists fly in space, and also
that is Zerg evolution. That doesn't matter. I mean, we are all a little bit Terran, so...
I want to know how Mutalists fly in space. I want to know how Marines are on the medevacs, and I want to know how...
They don't fly, they float.
I want to know something about Protoss, too. I just can't decide what yet. I want to know... What is weird about Protoss? How does the Stalker...
Everything.
How does the Stalker put itself back together when it blinks? It, like, basically... It, like, dissipates and then comes back together somehow, it looks like. How does that work?
It's the most advanced race. They have the technology. I mean, the technology isn't there yet for LAN in StarCraft 2, but in the StarCraft universe, the technology is there for Blink.
Yeah.
It's
I think the technology is there for LAN, though.
No, it's not there yet, Wolf.
It's there. It may be ignored.
Might be there in Heart of the Swarm, but right now, it's just not there yet.
Well, I don't think it will be, but what I am really excited about in Heart of the Swarm is cross-region play. On ranked matchmaking.
That's going to be
new
good.
Units.
Continue to play games when there's a drop. And, well, we have the next game coming up, and this time it's actually going to be a Protoss versus Protoss. It's going to... Oh, no, it's not. It's actually a Terran versus Protoss once again. We have Yoda up against Mini.
Yeah, see if Mini can do do his stuff here. He didn't look so strong against Curious in his final round of Code Ace, so he wasn't able to get into Code S right away.
You know, against 91, against Flash, he looked really good, and then against Curious, it was like a different Mini. It was
like, okay, he's got good matchup versus Prost, good matchup versus Terran. Against Zerg, it looked a little bit shaky. Yeah.
He got really crushed. Curious completely stumped him. And now he's up against Yoda first. Yoda lost his game against DRG earlier, so he kind of needs to win right now. Today we only have a 5-player group, so every win, of course, counts. I guess the same is true for a 6-player group, but in the end, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm with you on this.
Yeah, you can lose a game or two in a 6-player group a little bit without having any regrets, because there are still all those tie situations that can occur. That's exactly what we saw yesterday. All right, now we're waiting for Mini, which is actually a little bit funny, because he was the player who had the most time to prepare here.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's a fair point.
That's actually not even true. Think about it. We have 4 booths. Yoda was probably just sitting in his booth, and the other player had to get out, so Yoda is already prepared from his last match.
That makes sense.
Gotcha.
You got me there, man. I didn't even know you were like. I thought you were just trying to help me out, but in reality, you were just tricking me and making me look stupid. I don't know.
I'm sorry. That was not even intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so currently we're just waiting for Mini to get his stuff together, and then we can start with the next game. But currently we have 2 players, 2 of the Code S players, who are in a pretty decent situation in the group. Bomber and DRG, both with 1 win so far. And they have to play against each other pretty late in the group, so up to this point we could actually already have a pretty clear picture who's most likely going to advance today.
Yeah, just depends on how these next games play out. For example, Yoda right now is already down a game. If he loses again, he may find himself... Well, if he loses this game, he's definitely not going to have... It's not going to be up to him whether he gets out of the group. It's going to be up to who loses, whether or not he has a chance.
Yeah, exactly. If you have 2 losses, you can only hope for some kind of tie situation to occur. But on the other hand, we have the next game. The next game after this is actually also pretty interesting. Of course, before that we are going to have a short break, but then it's Genius against DRG.
Yeah.
The map that we were kind of waiting for already. And I don't know what's up with Mini. I think that is actually that's pretty bad manner right now. We're sitting here once again with the same situation yesterday where we had to talk about random stuff, and now we have to kill time again. I mean, we're getting pretty good at it, I feel, but...
I got a bunch of...
okay, we are having... today we are actually getting really smart today, aren't we?
What happened?
We are having a look at the replay right now.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at my tweets right now about Mutalisk flying in space. Terran Marines work using magic... Or magnets, sorry. I don't know. They use ropes. Mules are launched from satellites.
Oh, wow. He saw the drops. I mean, he probably didn't really see it, but they were in range of the observer that he had in position. So if he really would have looked at it, he would have known, okay, there's a drop headed towards my base. He has those stalkers, but he pulls them back, and only a few zealots are left.
Yeah, I mean...
That was a drop to kill him.
It certainly was. He didn't have the production, as you said, and Bomber just had enough to defend back at home with no warp-ins.
These 2 stalkers would have been so important for him, but he just pulls them back. He didn't realize that there was a drop. He didn't pay attention to the minimap, and it was only for the blink of an eye. So catching that on the minimap, if you're not watching closely, is really, really difficult. So I really don't blame him for missing it. But of course, it was very, very unfortunate. At this point, there's just too much in the main base, as you can see. He tries to defend with the probes, has a stalker there, but it's simply not enough.
I feel something that could have been better done here by Genius, though, was leaving a few more units at home and then poking with this force otherwise, because if you know your opponent has medevac's out, because, yeah, he dropped you early on, when the medevac tech is out, that's when you don't go for that all-in attack where you have nothing at home, because then he's just going to, because he's Terran, he can fly, he's just going to rip your base apart, and then you outmaneuver you with medevacs that heal. I think it was a big oversight to actually just leave everything at home, just only the 3 zealots, like, oh, that'll be fine. Clearly it was not. I don't think he expected that much of a drop. Obviously, even though he saw the medevacs, we discussed this earlier, he clearly didn't see them, otherwise we would have seen a different game there.
Exactly, and then in the end he lost the game, so is now down on 1 match already. Do we have Mini in the lobby by now?
I was checking about how Mutalisk fly in space, but now... Nope.
Mini is a little bit shy, isn't he?
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen him today.
I'm going to ask where he is.
Not yet. Yeah, I have no clue. Another thing that's actually happening in Sora right now, guys, is getting so cold here. It's crazy. We talked about it yesterday that winter is coming. Winter is really coming.
Yeah.
Dark Wings, Dark Words, once again.
I got my new jacket on today, actually.
I have my jacket with me today, too. Usually, like last week, you could just walk around in a t-shirt, you could come to the studio, everything was fine. You're not laughing because of me, are
No,
you?
no.
Legend
said he's like, I said, where's Minnie? And he said he's at my house playing with my puppy right now.
What?
Everyone's like laughing in chat. It's not funny. Where is he? Where is Minnie? I'm like, Detective Wolf is on the case.
Detective Wolf is on the case. What does he do? He
Looking for-
turns around and looks at the booth.
I'm looking
Everyone
for clues.
expected you to suddenly just look, exactly, looking for clues, do something, and you turn. Okay, awesome.
That was me. I was looking for clues to see if there's a clue as to where he is.
You're
right
the laziest detective I have ever seen in my entire
Well, you know, the
life.
thing
You
is-
didn't even stand up for that.
now. No. Okay, apparently
Does that
it's because
make me
it's Mouse.
Watson? I don't want to be Watson.
Well, you don't have to be Watson. You can just be the side character that probably dies in the end. It's really sad, but I'll be okay.
Thank you so
Or you
much.
can be Watson because Watson probably isn't going to die.
Well, I think Watson is still better than Robin.
Uh,
As long as I'm not Robin. If
thing
we're
is, you
going
have to
into the
be-
Batman scenario, I'm Batman.
You have to be, if you're Watson, you have to be the Watson that's not fat. You have to be like the new Watson who's in shape because sometimes Watson is portrayed as a fat person.
Okay,
and, well, that's just not true in this
But can we
case.
agree if we jump into the Batman universe, I'm Batman?
Yeah.
You can be Robin.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
fine with it. You okay with Robin?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I'm okay with Robin.
Who would be okay with Robin?
He's got a cool uniform. I like it. He's got the R and stuff. He's got a sad story, you know. That
Do you
he
want a
grows up with
W?
and- Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Batman and Wolf? Wolf, heel. That would be cool.
I'm like these characters like, you know, these old shows like He-Man and stuff. You've always got that. Whoa, look at this. Change of topic. The Golem Wizard, he can't even fix it yet. It's like insane what's going on in there. Even the PD came in to see what's going on.
If that continues, we have probably a high chance of playing Genius versus DRG first. We did that yesterday when there were problems. I don't know what exactly happened, but this is a pretty standard mouse. That's nothing too special. If you would have this funky thing, you know, that blinks and kind of starts to hover in the middle of the screen or the camera, then maybe I could understand, but for some reason, the mouse must be special.
He's like
in some
got
way.
he's got like a special trackpad installed. He actually plays on a trackpad. You know
what I realized today? Naniwa has a problem with his mouse these days at the GOM house. So I thought that most mice that you have are for both hands, that it doesn't make a difference. I mean, there are of course some mice that are specifically designed for right-handed people, but today I actually found out that most of those mice that look like pretty symmetrical, where you think, okay, that's probably fine for both, that's not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case. If you look at it, even if you guys can see this mouse I have here,
Yeah.
you can look at it. It's even slightly designed for a right-handed person
Yeah.
more so than a
It's
left-handed
completely
person.
different. Try it. Just pick it up with the right
pick it
hand
up.
and then try to use it with the left hand. You will immediately feel the difference. I had no clue. I have a couple of different mice at home, and I started to feel silly. I tried all of them out, and then Naniwa was just looking at me. Ha!
I have an interesting wolf fact for you.
Wolf
everyone
fact?
out there, yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually left-handed, but I use mouse with the right hand. I only
Hazos does the same.
eat and write with my left hand. Everything else is done right-handed, from sports to esports to.
Okay. Yeah, Hazops is the same, for example. He is originally left-handed, but he plays with the right hand on the mouse. There's another player too. I'm not quite sure who the other player is, but there are not this many people, or not this many players that are actually left-handed. Naniwa, and
I only know-
apparently, it's not Revival, Violet. I think Violet is left-handed.
I don't know about that, but I take your word for it. Only two people I know personally who, unless Violet is one of them as well, that his left hand is my grandfather and Naniwa. They're like the only two people.
Does he play StarCraft too?
No, but he
Why?
has watched before.
He has watched it?
Yeah, his mechanics aren't the best, but he likes to watch. When you grow up, it's hard to use a left-hand mouse because even if you're left-handed, there's not a lot of equipment, and like you said earlier, the mouse is just like not made for left-handed people. So when you're learning to use a computer growing up, it's like difficult. So the mouse always plays on the right side. Sometimes you're in a computer lab with your friends, and there's no room to the left side of the keyboard even to put a mouse, even if you wanted to. So you just kind of get forced to using your right hand.
I know that Hazops has kind of a story behind it. I think I'm mixing it up, I think, but someone had like an older brother and tried to copy his brother or whatever, and that's why he tried to use the right hand or use different. Okay, just forget about that. I'm probably just babbling right now, but he has some kind of story that he told me once, but I kind of forgot about the details, which is a little bit sad. But yeah, Mini's mouse has some problems. Mini is right-handed, so he's not left-handed. That's not the issue. It's not that they have to find a different mouse for him. No, but apparently the computer completely refuses to play with this mouse. Yeah, that's what's happening. Is the puppy here, by the way? Legend
No, I
has
don't
this
think so.
puppy, the Startail puppy that he's taking care of, and usually when he brings it to the studio, it's like It's like Legends pickup line. I'm short, but I have a cute puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So-
talked about this earlier, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually your joke. I just stole it. But yeah, it usually brings it to the studio, and then at some point it will escape. That's like the puppy gone wild, and just runs through the studio. The girls are trying to catch it.
We're
Nobody
actually going to have
succeeds.
Genius against Yoda now.
Genius against. No, that completely screws up my sheet.
I'm sorry, man.
Genius against Yoda. Okay.
Well, you can
Now I have
just-
to rethink everything.
Yeah, you will.
Horrible. Nothing.
Oh, actually, we're doing Genius versus DRG.
Ah, I told you.
Yeah. Well, they brought Genius into the lobby for some reason. We had a little chat, and then he left.
Okay, something has been
So
cancelled.
now he actually does Genius versus Yoda.
I had my moment here, and then production screwed it up. They were like, no, sorry, actually, Carlos, sorry, we just made fun of you.
I wonder what happened. I mean, I guess the reason why is Yoda's already in the booth. They don't want to make him get up because it's going to,
I never really... I mean, that mouse is special.
This one? Or the
No,
one that Nani was?
Minnie's
oh,
mouse.
Minnie's mouse, yeah.
Have you
Minnie
ever...
Mouse.
The
Minnie Mouse is pretty special, man.
Yeah,
Disney-
Minnie Mouse is really special. Have you ever seen a mouse delay a game that much?
No. Well, yes, actually, just now, but before this moment, no. It's still going on.
You know why they play this game now? Apparently both matches are played on Ohana, and probably the Korean casters are too lazy to change the map.
That's possible.
Yeah. Someone in the back room was going down all the games, was like, okay, we need to find another Ohana game where Yoda is playing. Yeah, in case you didn't know, Ohana is the map for Yoda against Minnie, and apparently for Yoda against... who's playing? DRG?
Okay, I guess Minnie is actually coming in now.
Okay, so the plans have changed again. This is like... Are we at Plan D already?
I think we're at Plan X, man. I'm like, execute Plan X, which is actually just Plan A.
You know,
delayed.
Hannibal would really be disappointed. This is not what it looks like when a plan comes together.
No.
Not at all. So, yeah, we are at Plan... We're at the end of the alphabet already. But I hope that at some point we're going to get a game. Okay, so what's the idea now? Are we waiting now for Minnie again?
Yeah, we're waiting for Minnie, yeah.
Okay, so not... Okay. All right. I'm trying to follow all of this, and my head is already
Well,
kind of
let's
spinning
think
out of
about
control.
all the things that you wish that you had in your life. Now that we have this moment,
You know what? I
all those
wish
things
for
you wish you had
right
in your life that are mini, like something that you have now that you wish you could have smaller of. Let's talk about that. Actually, I guess not. I guess we're going to take a commercial break. We're not going to talk about things that are mini. During this break,
Hey, I was just getting...
during this break,
just
tweet
getting
us things
started.
you want that you have mini at ProxyWolf at Keldor. Tweet at us. I guess we're going to have a commercial break. I guess I'm going to find out what's really going on. And
What happened?
I guess no, we're not having a commercial break. This is actually a crisis. Keldor, this is a crisis. What is happening? I don't know what's going on
Did we change
anymore.
the plan again a second ago? I thought we were heading into a commercial break, but right now I think we're not.
I don't know. I'm just like waiting for Minnie to join the lobby. Then we're having a commercial break. Now we're just going to talk more. So anyways, don't tweet us.
Okay,
Keldor,
do you know what I want?
what would you like to have minimized?
Right now?
Right now?
Okay, could you please stop? What would you like to
I wanna
minimize
know,
and
but
put
I was just trying
and
to
point down like this?
All right.
That has like this, you know.
This is weird connotation. Okay.
Exactly. Right now, I would like to have my Hot 6 energy drink, the smaller can.
Yeah.
Because every single time I drink it while we're here, I have this bigger can, and then I end up drinking 5 of them. And after the cast, I'm looking like this.
Yeah.
So that's what I want
We
to have
can
a
actually
little
show
smaller.
this Hot 6 can on stream. It is a sponsor for this event.
You are you're drinking it with that thing?
No, I put the
With a straw?
No, I put the straw in there. 'Cause it was like the Hot 6 can is empty.
You
so
are a girl.
I use the can as a trash can
Confess.
for the other straw. No.
That is you can have your coming out
Listen, I
on camera.
I had a coffee straw, and then I put it in here.
Okay.
We're actually having a break now, guys.
Okay, so apparently now we're going into a break. It has been confirmed, so guys, we are seeing you in a few. And yeah, I'm going to talk to Minnie Mouse now. Something's wrong here.